Good morning. Welcome to Ask Coffee Online. My name is Chef Caesar. Today I want to be preparing some eggplant. I'm going to do an eggplant parmesan, by the way. And this is considered a fruit. The name that we use is eggplant, but they're also called aubergine. Up in England, also they're known as melangine, garden egg, or guinea squash. And do you have, there's different kinds. There's the Japanese, which is really long and skinny with a light purple, the white eggplants. And we're going to start by, preparing this eggplant. This has a little bitter taste, but I'm going to show you a way to do them that takes some of the bitterness away. Also, when you fry them, it's going to help to, absorb less oil than normally. So I'm going to start by peeling the eggplants, cut the top off. And when you go buy these eggplants, make sure you pick the ones that are nice and shiny and they don't have any wrinkles or like brown spots. When they have brown spots, that means they're old and they're like kind of mush inside. They start to turn brown. So you want to get the ones that are really nice and firm. They're like you can press them down and they don't like give up. So they're nice and firm, and that means they're nice and fresh. So we're going to cut the top and the bottom, and we're going to peel them. You can also do this in the grill or bake them. And this is a good ingredient for ratatouille. I mean, there's so many different ways that you can make eggplants. If you do them the right way, they have a nice flavor. And the old days, they used to be served as a side dish with like other meat dishes, for example, veal or chicken, and especially in Italian cuisine. Nowadays, you can find them, just by themselves. They make a meal by themselves, and they're really good for those people that are like vegetarians. You can do them grill, like do an eggplant parmesan like I'm going to do right now, and they're really nice. They're really tasty. So we're going to peel them really good. Okay, as you can see, they started to turn brown right away. The oxidation starts to set in, and we want to slice them in about half an inch slices. You can also slice them the long way, thin slices, and layer like a lasagna. Like you do a lasagna, or roll it up. We're gonna slice them in little wheels, like about half an inch thick, and we're gonna bread them and fry them. Okay. As you can see, they start to oxidize right away. They turn brown. So we're going to soak them in some salt water. This is called degorging. What it does, it helps to soften the vegetables. Also takes some of the bitterness away. Like I said before, it takes some of the oil. It doesn't absorb as much when you fry them. So I want to put some sugar, about a tablespoon of sugar, some sea salt. You can also just lay them in a sheet pan and sprinkle some salt on both sides, and you can leave them there for about half an hour. You're going to see little water droplets when they come back to them, because it's going to absorb some of the, extract some of the water from the vegetables. And I'm going to put some cold water in here, and we're going to soak them for about 10 minutes before you start, breading them. Okay. I already have some that I did ahead of time, so that way we don't waste any time. So we want to dissolve the water, the salt in the water really good. Then we're going to submerge the slices in here. And like I said before, this is called degorging. It helps, to soften the vegetables and take some of the bitter taste away from them. As you can see, nice slices. And they have a lot of seeds in the center, but these get nice and soft when you cook them, so don't worry about that. That's the way they are. And it's really easy to work with eggplant. There's like a zucchini, but again, they're really tasty. They taste a little bit different. Okay, I'm gonna put this aside now. I'm gonna show the ones that I have already, soaking in liquid over here. As you can see, the liquid looks a little brownish, so we're gonna drain all this water from here, and then we're gonna bread, do some breading. I believe we have a question from one of our students. The question was, why do you have to peel the eggplant? Well, because you don't have to peel it, but it's nice because the skins are kind of tough. If you're going to grill it, I would leave the skins on, just slice them. But since you're going to do a parmesan, because once you bread them like this, you don't want to be peeling the skins off when you cook them. So you don't have to peel them if you don't want to. But, I like to do this because that way you can eat the whole thing and it's less messy to eat. But if you're going to grill them, like I said, in the flat and the grill, you can leave the skin. Kind of helps to keep the shape together. They don't break up this easy. Now that we have the eggplant, drained, we want to kind of dry off some of the excess liquid. So I'm going to take some paper towels, lay them in my cutting board before I start breading them, okay? Put them in here. Okay, I got them all here. Then I'm gonna cut another piece and just lightly, just dry them up a little bit. Okay, and I got my bread station already over here set up, ready to go. So I'm gonna put them back in this bowl. I'm gonna dry it up really nice. Okay. Okay, now put them back in here, and I'm gonna show how easy this is. Okay. All right. We're ready to go. Now I got my egg, some egg wash here. I got some 4 eggs and about 8 ounces of milk, my flour, and my breadcrumbs. I'm using some seasoned breadcrumbs. You can make your own, or you can buy them already like this. They have some oregano, some basil, some onion powder, a little garlic. You can even put some little Parmesan cheese in there if you want. Then we're gonna start our breading process here. Okay, I'm gonna move this out of the way here so you guys can see. And make sure you use the dry hand, wet hand method. You don't want to make a mess. Okay, you want to put them in the flour, shake the excess, and dump them in there. Okay. And you can do a bunch of them ahead of time. Keep them in the refrigerator before you fry them all. It's normal what we do. And then you can bake them with some tomato sauce, some mozzarella cheese, Parmesan cheese, like I'm gonna do right now. Okay. Okay. Now I'm gonna stick my hand in here. We're gonna put them in our breading mixture over here. Kind of drain some of the egg wash. You don't get the breadcrumbs all wet. And you want to press down a little bit, so you want to kind of tap them a little bit so the breadcrumbs stick to the eggplant pieces. Okay, there we go. If you want to use the Japanese breadcrumbs, it's a little lighter. You can too. It's going to give a nice crunchy texture. And it's much lighter than regular breadcrumbs. These are a little more dense, and they kind of soak more oil too. But I'm just decided to go with the Italian style breadcrumbs, which is already seasoned. You can buy them plain and make your own breadcrumbs. This like, if you guys have some leftover bread, you can make your own. Okay. There you go. Crank my oil over here so it's ready to go. You don't need a lot of oil. Just kind of, quarter of an inch of the bottoms, because you don't want to. You can flip them over. But if you can, if you want to put more oil, that's up to you. Whatever you want is fine. I'm gonna do a few more pieces here. Okay. Okay. There you go. As you can see, my breadcrumbs are nice and dry. Make sure you do this, because you don't want to, stick your wet hand with it dry and they make a mess. It's really, not that hard. Just remember, one hand for the dry and the other hand for the wet. Okay, look at this. I'm gonna lay them in my cutting board right now here. I'll do a few more pieces here. And once you have them ready, in the restaurant setting, you can even do them to order. That way, you got them already, bread it, and you just drop in the oil when the order comes in. But at home, you can, make a dish, bake them and make a nice dinner for the family. Okay. There you go. Okay. Now I got my hands. See, one is nice and dry. My other hands, it's not that messy. But if I mix them up, you get like flour in your fingers, and it just gets really messy. So make sure you use a proper breading technique. Very simple. Okay, now I'm gonna move this to the side here, because I'm gonna start frying my eggplant pieces. Okay. Make sure my oil's nice and hot. I also got a plate over here with some paper towels. And I'm gonna, when I take them out, so some of the oil kind of soaks into the paper towel. Make sure you do that. That way, they're not too oily. Okay. I'm gonna drop them there. See. Probably do 3 pieces at a time since my pan is not that big. There you go. Be careful when you put them in, you don't want to burn yourself. We're going to let them go until they get nice and golden brown. Then we're going to flip them over. And they cook really quick. They don't take too long. So if you keep the flame on medium, I mean, if you don't have a fryer, you can use a pan like this. It works great. Just keep an eye on the temperature. You don't want to get the oil too hot and burn them. So as you can see, they're kind of, sizzling really well. And when you do frying, pretty much how it works, it cooks from the inside out. Because once you drop the product in the fryer, the moisture inside the product heats up and it steams. So when it comes out, it pretty much is cooking the items. So that's how frying works. Yes, we have a question over here.
If you slice the eggplant ahead of time, can you freeze them and then fry them later?
Okay, the question was, if you slice the eggplant ahead of time, can you freeze them and fry them later? You can, but since when you freeze something, the product freezes, and when it comes out, it's going to be kind of wilted. But you can't do that. Maybe you want to put it in between like paper towels and freeze it. That way, when you take it out, you can still use them. Or you can bread them too ahead of time, and you can freeze them, and then you take them out, and you put them in the fryer as well too. It'd probably be easier to bread them and then you freeze them. That way, you don't have to do the work twice. So you can see it nice and golden. And the bread is really light. I didn't put, you can do 2 coats, but 1 is enough. You don't want to have too much bread because otherwise it's going to soak too much oil, and you really don't want that, So you can see they're nice and golden brown. Okay. I'll set up my little pan over here to bake them. Look at that, very nice. Nice and crispy. I'm going to take this one out because it's done. You don't want to get them too brown either. Just a nice golden color you want. Okay, look at that. Let's see. I'm going to drop the last pieces in there. I'm going to use my tongs this time. I don't want to put my fingers in there, so be careful not to drop them too hard, so you don't want the oil to splash and burn your hands. That's a really bad way to burn your hands with hot oil. So we have the rest going, and you can fry them in batches like I do. It's really quick. Once you get the eggplants breaded, and again, you can put them in the refrigerator for a while before you bread them. Put them in a sheet pan so they're not stacking on top of each other. Otherwise, if you put them on top of each other, it might get moist and the breading can get soaked, and it comes off when when they stick together. So you don't want to do that. Put them 1 layer, and you might put a 2nd layer, but put some paper towels in between or maybe a plastic film. Look at this. This is called melanzana in Italian. I'm sure you've been to an Italian place, and melanzana is the name for the eggplant in Italian. And they're really popular. You can probably find them in every Italian menu. They do eggplant parmesan, rolled eggplant parmesan. You just have to slice them the long way with the little tiny slices. And also you can, when you bake them, you can, layer them like a lasagna. Put cheese and sauce in between, and you have like little thin slices. But I chose to do little, thicker slices. And, you can use an appetizer, an entree with some salad, with some pasta. Yes, we have another question over here.
How do you know when those are done? Are they still stiff or are they soft?
Oh, they're really crispy. Okay, the question was, how do I know when they're done? Okay, they cook very quick. It's like cooking zucchinis, really. And once they get nice and golden brown, they're done. You take them off because we're still going to bake them, so we're not quite done yet here. So they're still a little hard. We're going to finish baking them in the oven. That's normal. Just want to get them nice and golden brown like this. And then once we're done the frying, we're gonna bake them after that with some tomato sauce or marinara, whatever you want to use, and some mozzarella cheese, Parmesan cheese. Okay, now I'm gonna turn my oil off over here. Okay. And then we're done with the frying process. Okay. I'm gonna move this a little bit out of the way here because I don't wanna drop anything and burn myself. And then see we got nice eggplants are nice and golden, nice and crispy too. But this is gonna be soft when we bake them. They get nice and soft because some of the tomato sauce is gonna be helping with crispy. You can see that nice and crispy right now. But then we're gonna bake them in a little bit. So I got some tomato sauce over here. I got my little oven turned on, and I'm gonna put a little tomato sauce in the bottom here. If you use like a baking dish like this or even bigger, it works good too. But I'm gonna use this little tiny dish because I don't have a big oven for me to use. But normally you would use a oven-safe dish like this or a metal one, and you would put some sauce in the bottom and layer some of the eggplants in there. This so they don't stick here. Then I'm gonna put one of these big ones here, two little ones here. And my oven is not that big. I'm gonna put a little more tomato sauce on top. You can use marinara sauce as well too. I made some tomato sauce, and now I'm gonna top this with some mozzarella cheese. See this. And then sprinkle a little Parmesan cheese as well. I'm gonna brown the cheese in this little toaster oven I got back here. If you can, I could be like frying somewhere, but since I don't need them anymore, I'm just gonna kind of clean up here. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. I'm gonna be serving this with some a little green salad over here. So you can use pasta, but I'm gonna go a little light. So I'm just gonna use some baby greens here. Make it a lighter meal. You don't have to do this. You can do whatever you want at home. Okay. Nice little salad here with my eggplant. Yes, we have another question over here.
They want to know if you could do this with any vegetables, like green pepper, green bell pepper or tomatoes.
Okay, the question was, can we do this with any other vegetables, like fry them? I assume frying them and bread them. Yes, you can. I mean, you can do it with zucchini, even green peppers, or like green tomatoes. It's a good example. You can do green tomatoes like this. They're really popular, and you can also use them, and you can use them both. Maybe use some zucchini, kind of mix the vegetables up. You're going to get a nice different flavors in there when you make this. But again, zucchinis work great, even green tomatoes. And even green peppers, you want to do that. I mean, it's great. You can do it as well. I got some little yellow cherry tomatoes here I'm going to use. Okay, my eggplant are browning really nice. Okay. Some nice color here. Also got a little red onions I'm going to put on top of my salad. And you can do whatever you want. I'm just giving you a little example. Making something kind of light. I don't want something heavy, but you can do like pasta if you want a little more hearty dish. Do some pasta. Also, I'm going to chop some Italian parsley. I'm going to top it off when I finish my eggplant. Put a little oregano, dry oregano, some Italian parsley on top. It's a garnish. As you guys can see, it's really quick to do this kind of dishes. I mean, you can make dinner in 20-25 minutes if you get ready ahead of time and prep everything, and you can just put it together. Really easy. And I don't know, some of you guys that have gardens, you probably grow eggplants, and this is a good way to use them. So, okay, they're getting nice and brown back there. Almost ready to go. Okay, I got my parsley cut up here. Okay. Now I'm going to show you. See? I just, under the broiler, they got nice and golden brown. So I'm just going to present this, put them in a dish. If you want to put a little sauce on the bottom, that's fine too. It's As you can see, they're nice and soft now. See? Okay. And there you go. You can make a really nice, tasty meal really fast. You know, doesn't take too long. Now we're gonna sprinkle this with some fresh chopped Italian parsley. And I'm gonna sprinkle a little dry oregano on top. Okay. And there we go. If you want to put a little more tomato sauce, that's fine too. I just decided to keep it like this, nice and simple. But if you can, you know, add more, it's great. It's a wonderful dish, and I mean, so simple. You can see that you can do some really tasty vegetarian dishes, and this is a nice vegetarian meal. For those of you that need ideas or don't eat meat, this is a great, filling, tasty dish, and just vegetables. So I want to thank you for being here with me this morning. If you guys don't have any more questions, I want to wrap it up. And
I just want to know if you're baking it just until the cheese melts.
okay, the question was if I'm just baking this until the cheese melts, and pretty much yes, because it's already pre-cooked, and like I said, this is nice and soft now. They're nice and juicy in the center, and you just want to kind of bake it until the cheese pretty much melts, and it's going to be quick. If you put it in a dish like this and put it in the oven, maybe 10, 15 minutes, because I use a broiler right now, so it's much quicker. But if you have an oven, about 10 minutes, so put the oven and broil, and you're gonna have the cheese nice and brown, and they're done. So really, it's very quick. Anything else, guys? Well, I want to thank you for being here with me this morning. I see you next week, and thanks again.